Taoiseach, it's come to my attention that banks are refusing mortgages to people who are on the EWSS, the Employment Wage Subsidy Scheme, and other similar pandemic subsidies from the government. Not just one bank, but many banks and across different counties, so it's now a systemic problem. One might say that a mortgage relationship is a private contractual relationship between an applicant and a bank, but one might equally say that accommodation is a private contractual relationship. But nevertheless, we have outlawed discrimination by landlords against people who are in receipt of HAP. If this practice continues, will the government continue banning discrimination against mortgage applicants whose employers are in receipt of Employment Wage Subsidy Scheme?
Thanks very much, Deputy. This has come to my attention too. A number of cases in my constituency, and something I have discussed with the banks and will again in the regular engagement that I have with them. I don't think it's as simple as a matter of discrimination. You know, banks have certain responsibilities, and among their responsibilities is only to engage in prudent lending, because if they lend money to somebody who can't pay it back, that has an impact on wider society. It means that a loan isn't paid back, and that means harder credit for everyone else and higher interest rates for everyone else. So banks have a social responsibility to make sure they don't engage in lending money to people who can't pay it back. And one of the real concerns that a bank would have and would have to have in relation to somebody who is on the Employment Wage Subsidy Scheme is whether that job will still be there in 3 months' time or 6 months' time or 9 months' time when the Employment Wage Subsidy Scheme is gone. So I think it is something they do have to take into account. And I know that's hard to say and that's hard to hear, but it's not in anyone's interests for banks to issue mortgages to people who might not be able to repay them. So we're hoping in the vast majority of cases, people who are on the EWSS won't have to be on it in a few months' time, that they will be fully paid by their employer again. But there is a risk they won't, and banks do have to take that into account because of the wider social